Last week I argued that even on a B theory of time, we can still speak of things as beginning to exist. Now, if you're just joining the discussion, I'd encourage you to go back to episode 38, where I first talked about the differences between an A theory and a B theory of time, and watch the episodes up to this point to bring you up to speed. Now, I've proposed that we could articulate a version of the Kalam cosmological argument that fits within a B theory of time as follows. Premise 1. Anything within time that has a moment t1 at which it is indexed as having existence, plus no moments indexed as prior to t1 at which it existed, has a cause. Premise 2. The universe is within time and has a moment t1 at which it is indexed as having existence, plus no moments indexed as prior to t1 at which it existed. Conclusion: therefore the universe has a cause. Now, way back in episodes 15 through 23, when I was defending William Lane Craig's version of the Kalam argument, I gave several arguments in support of his premise that the universe began to exist. All these same arguments, viewed through the lens of a B theory of time, support the premise that the universe has a moment, t1, at which it is indexed as having existence, along with no moments indexed as prior to t1 at which it existed. So if I am right about those previous lines of thought, then the argument remains sound, even when rephrased to fit B theory. But when we're talking specifically about the universe as a whole, the argument becomes even stronger. You see, even many cosmologists who accept a B theory of time also believe that the universe had an initial state or singularity at the Big Bang. So to use that ruler illustration that I used back in episodes 38 and 40, even that ruler has at least one edge. If you recall, we said that if the inch markings on a ruler represented all the different moments in time, they'd all be equally present together on that ruler. But they are also all still ordered or indexed in such a way that inch 1 is seen as coming before inch 2, and inch 2 before inch 3, and so on, even though fundamentally there's no difference between them. But here's the catch. While that ruler may go on indefinitely in one direction, what we today would think of as moments indexed as being later than our current moment, the majority of cosmologists accept that there was a Big Bang. So they believe that there are a finite number of moments that are indexed as being prior to our current moment. In other words, even if the ruler goes on forever in one direction, it still has a sharp edge at the other. Even if all moments in time exist equally, there is still a moment indexed as t0, with all other moments in time indexed as being later than it, and no moments in time indexed as being prior to it. And that's also the moment that the universe is indexed as existing. This distinction between the two ends of the ruler shows that there is a fundamental difference between what we see as the present and what we see as the past. And that is true regardless of whether we look at it through the lens of an A theory or a B theory of time. Furthermore, that difference points to what can reasonably be termed a beginning. Next week, we'll wrap up our discussion of the B theory of time by showing how all of this fits neatly within the nature of God. See you then. God bless.